You're watching RTV News with me, Jane Mutoni. Nyarugenge prison, the Archbishop of Kigali, Antoine Cardinal Kambanda, urged prisoners to be characterized by kindness and strive to build the country instead of destroying it. Residents of Kigali City and visitors from other parts of the country are requesting for preventive measures against Ebola that has now appeared in Uganda. A very warm welcome to the news in details. Now, as we begin this edition, let us inform you that on Sunday evening at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, President Paul Kagame met with Stefano Domenicali, CEO of Formula One Group, and attended a dinner hosted by Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong before watching the 2022 Singapore Grand Prix. Moving on, the mass that convened in Nyarugenge prison, the Archbishop of Kigali, Antoine Cardinal Kambanda, urged prisoners to be characterized by kindness and strive to build the country instead of destroying it. Olive Nete has the report.
Igirukwaya Christophe is among the people that received the sacrament of confirmation this Sunday. He says that he's on the journey of making positive changes and that it will enable him to live well with other inmates, but also looking forward to continue with that and be characterized by integrity once he gets released from prison.
I used to be a thief and used to fornicate, but I thank God for rescuing me. And when I get the opportunity to go back to the normal life, I'll be an exemplary person. I used to hurt my parents' feelings and also to get problems with the law because I was a thief. But now, the church taught me and helped me. I thank the leadership of the prison and the sector as well for always being close to us. And when I get released from the prison, I'll be a decent Rwandan who will not go back to the bad behaviors, but will be led by the word of God.
He's among the 23 people that received this sacrament of confirmation this Sunday during the Mass that was led by the Archbishop of Kigali, Antoine Cardinal Kambanda. The spokesperson of the Rwanda Correctional Service, SSP Peli Uweragakwaya, pointed out that religious activities are taken into consideration in prisons because they help in correctional services. It assists us in the correctional services. Because of beliefs, they get to think that if they do something wrong, they will be making mistakes and that the church may punish them. So such activities assists us because it also helps them to have good behaviors, and that makes our correctional work easier. Through his message during the Mass, Antoine Cardinal Kambanda urged people confined in Mageragere prison to always strive to do good and be united. He also pointed out that such activities are based on the gospel.
Jesus said that a good shepherd leaves 99 sheep and go look for the lost sheep. These people are imprisoned, are our lost sheep, and we are here to see how to assist them during these correctional services so that they can once again be Rwandans that can work with others for the development of the country and also be good Christians that work together with others, because when someone commits a sin, we ought to separate him with the sin he did. We ought to love him and hate and fight against the sin, and we also aim to accompany them through the journey of change, comprising hating the sin, fight against it, and ask for their forgiveness. But most of all, strive to change.
Antoine Cardinal Kambanda also urged them to be characterized by love and not to be ashamed because they are imprisoned, but strive to build their country.
We asked prisoners to look back to the childhood, because normally every child is a good person. They only change due to the society. We asked them to look back in their childhood when they had pure hearts, so that they can be characterized by the image of love, kindness, and then they can be accepted in the society and strive to build the country instead of destroying it.
Currently, Nyarugenge prison detains 12,026 prisoners and inmates, including 1,505 women and 10,521 men. Like any other place, in prisons they also carry out religious activities where choirs and other teams help through those activities. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Residents of Kigali City and visitors from other parts of the country are requesting that the facilities used to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic should be activated because they are concerned that there is no protection against Ebola that has now appeared in Uganda. Nureth Agasaro has this report.
In public places such as market and on the street where people are walking and greeting each other, before people entering were required to wash their hands in order to avoid COVID-19. The places where people used to wash their hands before entering, some places have already been removed and other places have been destroyed so that there is no water to be found. Residents of Kigali as well as visitors from all over the country are concerned that there is no protection and that there is Ebola in Uganda, which requires people to wash their hands regularly. They should take the same measures that were there during COVID-19 pandemic. And we prevent it from happening again by washing and avoiding greeting each other hand in hand, because there is no place for washing hands anymore. And take steps to wear masks again, because there is a worry that once Ebola spreads across our country, we will be in danger.
Some people used to come into a bus station and wash their hands, but now there is no hand washing facility, so you just enter without washing your hands, which is a big problem. What we ask is that they bring back those places for washing hands and follow the rules for providing meters that they used before, because that's the only safety measure that they can put in place and is simple for everyone.
In the churches around the city of Kigali, the activities of the ordination of pastors and those who came from the border between Rwanda and Uganda came together in Kigali and enjoy singing and dancing. Some say that they have learned so much about Ebola that they are unable to tolerate it because they are aware of the COVID-19 pandemic's negative effects, which include the closing of churches.
We like to follow the message we've noticed and we will share it with Christians because they are the people of the country and we are working together to prevent pandemics and we will make it our own and put into action.
We are confident that the country leaders is doing everything possible to prevent it from reaching here, and we are also willing to do so. Religious leaders and churches say that even in their sermons, they continue to remind members of their religion to follow the Ministry of Health's instruction in order to avoid Ebola.
Yesterday, I was talking to pastors of Uganda. They informed us there is an area of the country where Ebola has occurred in the past years, and COVID-19 is still there, even though we are out of the bad times of staying at home. It is important to avoid Ebola, as it is a bad disease that's killing. Anyone who listens to me, whether they are Christians or from Rwanda, should understand that protecting one's life is the most important thing and greatest gift that God has given to us.
According to Dr. Daniel Ngamije, the Minister of Health, says there is no Ebola in Rwanda. He's urging Rwandans to keep up with the latest news of the outbreak and the precautions against it, such as washing their hands, avoiding handshakes and hugs, and foregoing unnecessary trips to Uganda where the outbreak has been reported.
We follow those who have common symptoms, such as malaria, and the most important sign that people should be aware is that when a person gets Ebola, he or she bleeds from all pores, including the mouth and nose. Until now, we have checked those entering the country and asked where they came from. We take them to the hospital where there are designated rooms to receive those who have symptoms. Those who don't have symptoms are taken to another designated place and stay there for 21 days. And when we find that they do not have a problem, we release them.
According to statistics from the Ugandan Ministry of Health released on September 30th, 2022, 38 people have been infected with Ebola, which has already killed more than 20 people, and more than 470 people are being sought after having contact with the sick. Nuria Tagasaro, RTV News.
Small and medium-sized industry owners have requested that the quality standards they are required to adhere should also be applied to imported products so that their products can be eligible to compete on the market equally. Adam Squizera has this report.
There are some industrialists across the country who are determined to follow the quality standards of what they produce on the local and international market. But they only have a problem of packaging, which is not allowed to be used, yet imported products are wrapped in these materials.
tuza kubangamirwa nuko bya bindi twabujijwe gushyira muri plastike.
We were hindered by the domination of the plastic packaged products from abroad, since they are cheap on the market. Hence, it bothers us during the market competition, where our cans we use in packaging are expensive comparing to the plastic packages. For us in Rwanda, we are not allowed to use plastic packages, as we request that this should be abolished. While they were developing Made in Rwanda program, there were established many garment factories. But we still have a challenge that Made in Rwanda clothes are packaged in cartons comparing to the imported clothes from China or else, which are packaged in plastic packages. Why can't our clothes also be packaged the same? In a recent meeting with the Minister of Trade and Industry, Professor Jean Chrysostome Ngabitsinze promised them to find a sustainable solution for that issue. After understanding issues, we first analyzed them, then we solved the ones that are possible to get solved. Yes, there are problems they have as traders, same as we government, but the better thing is that these discussions result to better solutions. Hence, to that respect, we owe the traders. We have to understand them. The economist Edin Sabimana advises the private sector to increase the production rate of agriculture products in these value-added industries, hence to satisfy the production of the domestic and international market. In other places, carrots are produced in other sub-products, same to other fresh vegetables. Why can't we think in the expansion of the value-added products? The Deputy General of Rwanda Development Board, Zefani Nyonguru, points out that the country is doing a lot to develop small industries. There is a program we're implementing named Manufacturing Build to Recover, which is for those startup industries, where they are supported in their construction activities and other activities. When you take this program and you combine it with the value chain programs we were talking about, hence we did this to facilitate our products to be competitive on the international market. According to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the fact industry GDP reached 20% in the second quarter of this year gives promise that this sector will hit its target of contributing 21.4% in 2024. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources has announced to farmers in the Eastern Province that at the beginning of next year, the milk powder processing plant being built in Nyagatare region will start operating. But it is worried that the current production is not at least 20% of what is needed. This was revealed to the representatives of farmers in the province in a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Muteshimana Gerardine. Take a look. Well, there are 3 months left for the milk powder factory that is being built in Nyagatare district to start processing milk. Nyagatare district produces 100,000 liters of milk per day, and it is expected to supply 60% of the milk needed at the factory, since it will be needing 500,000 liters per day. On one hand, during the meeting that joined farmers in this province and the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Muteshimana Gerardine, it was noted that only 20% of the milk required is available. The minister asked the Inyanje Industries to enter into an agreement with the farmers of the region who have not yet interacted so that they can participate in satisfying the factory. The reason why this partnership is important is because a farmer with a partnership contract and insurance is eligible for a loan, and this would solve some of the problems they face, such as lack of water or cows, because they would have means of investing. Nyanja Industries representatives say that they are going to send their workers to the dairy farms to speed up the milk production process. They also agreed with the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources that the cooperation agreement between the farmers and the factory is going to be done before the construction is complete, as this will help them get loans from financial institutions.
We assure you, Honorable Minister, that this will be implemented not later than October. To my observation, in terms of improvements, in the past, we encountered problems with the MCCs, especially with the management, which I believe can be solved. And they also have other financial problems that make it difficult to start again. We can work together again and see how we can contribute so that MCCs can work properly. And if the issue is the money, we can find a way to work on it, since there will be an agreement contract.
Farmers were blamed a lot due to the fact that 300 hectares of land that should have been planted with grass was not used. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources says that there will be an increase in grass seeds from 500,000 tons provided annually to 4 million tons. Some farmers appreciate the role of the government in increasing the production of milk. They also pointed out things that need to be increased, including the number of cattle, water for the cows, and the collection capacity.
There is a significant reduction in milk production. It also shows in numbers recorded in the MCs, and there are two seasons to this. Reason number one is the development projects that affected cows. For example, the project in Idgwabi Haramba. Some farmers were working in that project, hence the milk yield from there reducing. Secondly, the local consumption of milk is high. For the past 2 or 3 years, locals have been consuming a lot of milk, hence affecting the number on the MCC.
The governor of the Eastern Province, Gasana Emmanuel, revealed about 7 measures that the province has taken for the remaining 3 months to improve livestock production.
There are many rules and regulations in our management, but also we get challenged when asked what we have done. So far as the government has already done its part, and there is still more to be done. Otherwise, it will be embarrassing if we've agreed just for them to come back and find that nothing has been done still, and the factory is complete.
Farmers are requesting for cows from abroad that produce milk. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Mukeshimana Gerardine, said that they are expensive and that besides that, it's not the main issue as is the poor management of cows by farmers, hence the investment going to waste. Countrywide, the figures of the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources show that there are more than 1.2 million cows. Nyagatare district alone has 400,000 cows. In this meeting, experts have shown a study that confirms that if at least 200,000 of them were producing enough milk, 2 million liters of milk would be available per day. Hence, the goal of achieving a milk yield of 1 million liters per day would be attainable by 200%. That's all we have for you for today. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now.